Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at an interview that Dave Filoni gave, talking about some of what he said with George Lucas about The Mandalorian. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee. Greetings, Exalted Ones. Greetings to all you Jedi, Padawans, and younglings out there. This is Star Wars Coffee, covering everything you need to know about the latest developments, news, and leaks in Star Wars, and as always, giving you my analysis. George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, the changer of worlds. George Lucas is certainly one who wears many hats, and George Lucas has really kind of become a character of himself in pop culture in terms of how he's actually perceived, because George Lucas really has changed the game not only in the film world but as well as the effects world. And George Lucas they talk about this actually on an episode of the Mandalorian Gallery. I encourage you to watch it. I believe it's episode 2, the Legacy episode, where George Lucas has really just talked about, and I even learned some things that I didn't know about him, about how many patents and how many technology breakthroughs that he made in terms of the film world. And so whenever George speaks, I think it's really important that we pay attention, because he really is such a visionary through it. And I think that the closest thing we have next to him in terms of just the Star Wars universe is Dave Filoni. I personally consider Dave Filoni to be the next man up in terms of who's gonna kind of really take Star Wars in the direction that George, look at things the way George would in terms of what we can expect. So it seems to me that George Lucas, the Jedi Master, has now taken off the Padawan reins of Dave Filoni and has now granted him the Jedi Knight rank. So Dave Filoni recently gave an interview with The Hollywood Reporter where he was asked about George Lucas and his relationship with George Lucas, and the question was the following: Dave, you were very close with George Lucas and are considered to be, by many fans, to be his heir apparent. What kind of feedback did he give you about Season 1? Dave Filoni responded with this: not a tremendous amount. We talk about other stuff. When I talk to him, I like to get more knowledge. He'll give me some reminders, especially before I shoot something, about how many setups I should try to get in a day, and I might rack his brain for certain things about how to cover a scene. He's been very complimentary. I think he's really enjoyed the show, and he told me now that he gets to watch it as a fan and as a viewer. My job is to bring the knowledge forward and pass on what I've learned from him in every discipline to John and the creative departments. Dave Filoni, who was instrumental in the Clone Wars animated series success, has revealed how exactly he got that for The Mandalorian via MSN. He's been very complimentary, Dave Filoni told The Hollywood Reporter. That's not to say that George Lucas has completely hands-off, as Dave Filoni reveals. However, it's not so much story beats that Lucas is very keen to point out, but instead more technical aspects of the production. When I talk to him, I like to get more knowledge, as Dave just said. He'll give me some reminders, especially before I shoot something, about how many setups I should try and get. And as Dave said, his job is to bring the knowledge forward to pass on what he's learned. So that way we can go from George Lucas to Dave Filoni to hopefully whoever Filoni kind of brings in under his wing. The past is still very much present in The Mandalorian, according to Dave Filoni. The fact is that set is much more contained as a benefit, because you can limit the number of people, Dave Filoni said, while also mentioning that various technical leaps and pioneered by Lucasfilm and ILM, both founded by George Lucas, filming on Mando is safer than your average production. In Filoni and creator Jon Favreau's hands, the Mando's future is looking bright, especially with some pointers from George Lucas along the way. So George Lucas still involved in Star Wars, just not coming back as much as a lot of you guys and myself personally would like to see. He's not going to be running Star Wars anytime soon, but Dave Filoni looks like he might be next up for that job. So Dave Filoni, really glad that he is friends with George Lucas, that he has been his heir apparent for, I think, at this point, 12 years? So it's very good to see that George Lucas is still very involved. And let's be honest, it's nice, as selfish as we would like to be, to see George continue to run the train, and it's just nice that George is able to actually watch and experience Star Wars as a fan, even though he created it. it has to be kind of interesting for him to watch on the other side of that and experience it the way that we all do. But let me know what you guys think about George Lucas and his comments about being very complimentary about The Mandalorian and really helping Dave Filoni along the way with The Mandalorian Season 1, and I expect nothing less from Season 2, given the facts that throughout this entire video I've shown you guys some pictures from Season 2 set. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. May God bless you and the Force be with you always. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe. Do it! And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.